together and feel alright. Everybody sing. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Wow. Good morning. Good. For those of you not sitting down, please sit down. My name is Gene Langille, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the morning service of the Center for Spiritual Living in Corte Madera. But first, if you have any electronic devices in your person, would you please turn them off or silence them or something? I just wanted to relate a little story. When I first was introduced to Science of Mind, there was a group of people, and it said that, life is good. And then the mentor would be everybody come out all the time. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And then later on, a couple of years ago, we had Michael Beckwith here. And at the beginning of his talk, that same thing happened. People said, life is good. And others responded, all the time. And Michael just stopped cold, and then he says, He said, life is good. Yes, that's true. He said, really? Life is magnificent. And so anyhow, at this point, would you say something magnificent to those around you? Something magnificent is happening right now. So may I call your attention to our music director, to Bodie and Stevie.
So I should say this is not my Halloween costume. I just got it. I had a little surgery last week, so I'm just recovering, and so I'm okay. Just want to let you know. I'm sure you're all looking up there saying, who is that? Got Bodie's brother or what? Anyway, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life tomorrow. I mean, yesterday. I mean, someday. When is it? When is it? There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. Is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. Life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life.
And you may be seated. And welcome to everyone who is here for the first time or back after a long time. That one life of God is called by many, many names. And every single path to God we honor. So wherever you are, on whatever spiritual path you're on, you're in the right place because you're here. So if you would, with me, turn within and remember that there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is full and immortal and eternal and loving and wise and beautiful and peaceful and balanced and creative and abundant and vital and so many more adjectives, an infinite number of adjectives. And even then, God is more than this. That life is my life now. That wondrous, clear, peaceful, loving, abundant, vital life is mine. And anything that feels like I want some more of it, I just open to that. Because it is eternally given. All good is eternally given. And as I can do this and bless my own experience of life, the same is true for every single person. Every single asking for more peace or a new idea or greater love or clearer clarity is instantly granted because it is all eternally given. And so it is that whatever needs are in this community now, whatever desires are in each and every heart, I know there is a pathway to fulfillment, and together we will find it. And so, in knowing this for each and every one, blessing each and every desire, each and every heart, I release this into that divine law with great gratitude, knowing that as I have spoken and as I believe, it is done unto me, and everyone here who says, yes, me too, I agree, yes, that's for me, yes. Releasing now into that law and awaiting the manifestation perfectly for each individual who hears this prayer. I am grateful. And so it is. Amen. Oh, good morning again. Good morning, everyone. So those people that are just coming in, remember to turn off your electronicals. And we have Sechko and Mies today. So our wonderful, wonderful team of guys. And thank you, Rick Wald, for making it a threesome at the opening. So please welcome Sechko and Mies.
Good morning. Don't you just love this time of year? I mean, it's so exquisite. I really appreciate it. So, when I heard that the theme for this month is faith, I couldn't help but bring out this song that you've heard a few times called Have Faith. emotions flow. And there seems to be a contradiction between the body and the mind. And every time you try to escape, you always come back to find that there's no running away from the need to look within. And every moment could be the time for the work to begin. Dive into the darkness, then shine your light. Look through
having a remarkable Q&A series about abundance with our founder, Reverend Lloyd Tupper, and friends. We'd like to put them on these little cards. Have about abundance, plenty, anything related to that. And Lloyd and Francine will answer those questions at one of the upcoming Thursday nights. You can leave them in a bowl on the newcomer table. And also, we have a class beginning relatively soon, and Janet Ryan is going to talk to us about it.
Thank you, Michael. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, said, "Our word is like a messenger, and we send our word out to do our bidding." The class that I created and am now reprising here in this community is called Speak Your Word, Create Your World. For 6 weeks, we have the opportunity to immerse ourselves in the basic practice of how we speak our word. We declare a thing, and it is established for us. So we'll have I call it a living, loving, learning laboratory where we get to practice the power of our word. The words that we say to ourselves, the words that we speak to our loved ones, affirmative prayer, and what we declare as so becomes our life experience. So if you'd like to have that experience, please join me. We start on November the 11th. There's an early sign-up incentive, so if you put in your deposit by October the 15th, you have an incentive, and that is a lesser tuition. I'll be at the education table today to answer your questions, and I would love to experience this with you. So consider it, come talk with me, sign up today, and be blessed. Thank you.
We also have Quick Start coming up on the 20th, which is next Sunday, taught by Gail Durkin. Gail, would you raise your hand or stand up? And this is a 3-hour love offering introduction to our wonderful philosophy. So if you're a newcomer to the community, it's a great way to get your toes into the pond of goodness and perfection. And also, Gail on November 10th is going to be offering a workshop, an affirmation card workshop, but this is way more than just affirmation cards. This is something that actually grew out of Janet's first offering of her word class, and it is going to be wonderful. So you can find out more about it from Gail, and there are sign-ups and a flyer on the education table for that too. And I believe that now Reverend Karyl is going to talk to us about birthdays.
Funnest thing in this community, and you are all welcome. Sue Ruda is once again offering her home for parties, and it's a great party house. So the way we're going to do this is that we're dividing up the year under the signs of the zodiac rather than the months, just for fun. So you Scorpios, you are the first party people, and so the last Friday of this month, you will be given a birthday cake and presents and scorpions and all of that. And anyone else that wants to come to this wonderful party, you will be the party givers. So if you could bring a little bit of finger food, and then the people who had signed up to be the party planners, Jim Huntley, among others, we're going to have a little meeting and figure out what we're going to do. But it's going to be really fun, and I'll be there, and I'll give a little science of mind interpretation for you Scorpios. So it should be very much fun. And then we'll do it every month after that. So thank you.
Please know that we welcome you to our home, and we hope that it becomes yours as well. And now on an entirely different note, I introduce our speaker of the day, our community spiritual leader, Reverend Karyl.
Yes, me. So thank you, and I too want to say for those of you that I don't know personally, I would love to meet you after the service and give you a hug or handshake and welcome you warmly into our spiritual family. Because this is kind of an interesting day for you to be here for the first time, and you'll see as this unfolds today. But to set this in the context of the year, our theme is the New World and the Ancient Path, like we have on that Celtic calendar there. And faith is the theme for October, because for our ancestors, when October came, winter was promised. Can't you just feel the difference outside? You know, the wind and it's clouding up. It's going to start to rain here. We don't get blizzards, but there are already blizzards some places in the United States. And so for our ancestors, knowing the faith that somehow with the planning and with God's grace, they're going to make it through to the next harvest season, that's what our ancestors were looking at in October. And so I thought that this was a really wonderful month to have the idea that we too are working with faith as we affirm our abundance and prosperity in whatever ways in our life we want that to show up. So, we did a survey a couple of months ago about what people wanted the most, first, second, and third. And more than love, more than a new job, the number one desire for everybody was abundance. And so I imagine that means an abundance of prosperity, and that means an abundance of money. Is that true? Is that? Well, Jim's shaking his head no, but how many would like more money? Okay, so I will give this talk. All right, fine. So our word for the day is prosperity, and the principle of the day is all good is eternally available. So for those of you that define good as love and connection and purpose in life and possibility and balance and peace and those kinds of things that I also prayed for in the opening prayer, that's available to you. And if you define good today as prosperity, abundance, and more money, that principle is true for you as well. So the way spiritual principles work is that the principle describes the way the universe is set up. This is what we believe, that all good is eternally available. That's the way life is. That's the way God is. That's the way the universe is, that what you want and need is available. So the other piece of proving a principle is you. And your part in proving a principle is to work with your own consciousness and belief system so that you can accept the principle that is working. So your beliefs and your hopes, your fears about wealth, about abundance, about money, comes to you as your experience. And the reason that is the principle that we looked at last week, which is, it is done unto you. Okay, it's done unto you as you believe. So that, that's the good news and the bad news, isn't it? Because if in filling out that survey that you wanted more abundance, if it is your hope that you don't have to change one single bit and you will win the lottery without even buying a ticket, let me say, that won't happen. So the piece that we're going to work on is you and me, because the principle is working. The principle that all good is eternally available and it's done unto you as you believe, that's working. And so we work on ourselves to work within that principle, okay? And if you are already uncomfortable, know that you are loved and safe. And I'm going to continue along these lines. So just take a deep breath, because, if it's not money and abundance that's your issue, it's something else. And the only way that that's going to change in your life is for you to change. and for your beliefs to change. That's it. So sometimes I think we love you so much that we don't say, hey, you got to change your belief. So I'm kind of saying that today, but not with the slaps, all right? So as Michael Hart said, the Do-It-Yourself Abundance Program starts today. It's the 3rd year, and according to your desires, we do it for 3 weeks instead of 6 weeks. And you're asked to commit as generously as possible if you love this community. If you love it, if you're wrapped up in it, we would really love for you to say how much you think that you're going to give to the center next year. So I also want to say that if you are here for the first time and if you're trying us out and if you are not all wrapped up in love in this community, you are not committed here, this talk is for you as well because the principle still works, all right? So I'm going to try to do 2 things. I'm going to ask the people who love us and are committed to pledge, and I'm going to talk to the rest of you and say, this is what you need to do to have more abundance in your life. So you with me? You know I'm on your side, and I'm talking to myself as well. So I want to say that I'm even more clear this year than ever before about this whole abundance program because what I know is that the success of this ministry, my ministry, our ministry, and the success of this community is based on how successful each one of you is. This cannot be a vital and transcendent ministry unless each of you is also on that wonderful ride up. So I'm committed to that. The other ministers are committed to that. The 32 practitioners are committed to that. We are devoted to your spiritual growth and the means by which you manifest that number 1 goal, which is abundance. And we cannot do your part for you. So, let me just say that again. We can't do your part for you. We will offer you every single thing that we know to help shift your consciousness and your beliefs. And that's why we are offering this amazing question and answer days starting this Thursday night at the Learning Center. It's free, for gosh sakes. You get to ask all your questions, and you get to even say things like, I want more abundance, and I don't know how to change my belief. You can even say that. Help me, please, and it will be done unto you. And so, we've got 3 parts to experiencing prosperity. And this is about the abundance program, but it's also about an abundant life. So there's 3 parts. There's 3 weeks to this program. I'm going to talk about 1 part each week. You have to have all 3 of these. It won't work unless you have all 3. But 3 is all you need. So that's the good news as well. All right? So here's the first one. There is more than enough of everything we want or need. So think about that. There's more than enough love, money, jobs, homes, freedom, power, peace, friendship, inspiration. There's more than enough of all of that. I mean, you can do research, and there's plenty of money out there. And I think it was Yogananda who was raising money, and his disciples said, where are we going to get the money? And he said, well, from wherever it is now. And so there's plenty of money. So if you want more money, it'll come to you from wherever it is now. It's as simple as that. So this belief is something that you need to install. This belief is something that you need if you are woken up out of a sound sleep and somebody says, what is the nature of abundance? You can say, there is more than enough of everything we want or need. That's what that is your belief. That's what comes out of you. That's what comes out of your bones. That's the belief that is required if you are in lack now and don't want to be in lack. Now, Everyone who has the experience of sufficiency or better has a version of this belief. I'll say that again. Everybody who has sufficiency or more than sufficiency has a version of this belief that works for them. So if you are not experiencing sufficiency, this is the path to it, to install this belief. And so if you do install it, and this is why you take class, this is why you go to a practitioner, this is why you keep coming back here, this is why you go to the question and answer sessions, for you to say, I don't know how to install a belief, tell me. We'll tell you. I'm not going to tell you right now, but if you can find that answer. Okay, the second part to experiencing prosperity is each and every one is deserving of their good. So this is what we're going to talk about next week mostly, which is about your deserving nature. Some people have grown up with that saying of, well, what do you think? Money grows on trees? Who do you think you are? Oh, we're going to work with that. And then finally, the only other third part is the creative law is infallible. The creative law always says yes. Can you see, if you have all of these beliefs installed, that every good that you could desire, because all good is eternally available, it's going to be yours. Okay? Not if you understand this, even if it's a mystery to you. Okay, great. So let's focus on that first part there. The first part of prosperity, and remembering it's done unto you as you believe, and all good is eternally available. If we do not have something that we want, and we realize that it's already given, it must be because of belief that we hold, right? If it's already given and we don't have it, it's got to be not God's part that needs to change. It has to be our part that we work on, okay? So here's the lesson for today. The fast way to get to the belief and jumpstart receiving is by giving what we want. And so I know that this might seem counterintuitive. If you want money, you give money. If you want love, you give love. And yet it is the principle. And this is a fast way to do it. I mean, you can go through all of your childhood upbringing, all of the beliefs that were installed by your parents and your peers, and work at changing all of those, and at some point you will change all of those. But a way to get really fast started on what is the most important thing for you to shift and change is to give that which you want to receive. Now, increased receiving and having requires giving first, especially for us that think we are without it. Okay, so let me back up and say that for people who do not have abundance as their issue, for people who are comfortable in their wealth or their sufficiency, for people who do not have an issue about receiving supply, this is not the way they work. But for those of us who feel a lack in this particular area, that's the work for us to do. And so I'm going to give you an analogy, because if this is too close to home and you are like reeling, we're going to talk about somebody else now, okay? It's so much easier to look at somebody else and a whole other issue, all right? So we're going to just breathe. We're going to talk about another issue and another person and not you. Okay. Let's say that you know someone who wants love, but you notice that they are pulled in, invisible, critical, and self-effacing. Okay? One of your friends wants a lover, a sweetheart, a partner, a husband, a wife, or a committed spouse, whatever it is that's on their want list. But in the world, you never even see them. And when you do see them, they're kind of critical. They're hunched over. They're pulled in, and they always kind of talk badly about themselves and others. Now, if that person gave love first, this is what would happen to them. First of all, they would pull up out of their subconscious the beliefs about the scarcity of love. They would pull up from their subconscious their beliefs about their own inadequacy. They would pull up from their subconscious memories of their childhood where love was all confusing. Right? They would instantly get to know the issues that they need to work on by kind of forcing themselves to give love or as close to love as they could understand. All of that would come up for them. Then what would happen is that they would really change. They would change, if they kept on doing it, they would change from being the pulled-in, self-effacing person to a little more loving, a little more loving, and a little more loving. And then what would happen to them is that they would actually find that like attracts like, and some kind of sweet, loving person who was kind of working at themselves at the same level would show up in front of them, and they'd go, wow, someone to love and to love me. Can you see how that would happen? Can you see how that consciousness would shift if they gave what they wanted? Same thing with prosperity. If you want more money and you give money, what's going to happen is all of those beliefs about scarcity, all of those messages about money, all of that stuff about worthiness is going to bubble up for you too. And if you look at that and say, does it make sense that God makes the world like this? No, I'm going to change that belief. Does it make sense that God made me like this? No, I'm going to change that belief. So that's how you get to be your own therapist, your own practitioner, is you pay attention to that subconscious influx when you do something that is unnatural for you. So when you give the money, and it's in your nature to hold on and be afraid. There's not enough. Why should I give any? Because they don't have enough for me. When you start doing that, those beliefs are going to become conscious. You get to work at them. And then what happens is you change. All of a sudden, you look at the abundance of life. You look at the abundance of the world around you. You look at the consciousness of the people next to you that don't have an issue with money. And you say, I want that consciousness. And you shift. And then what happens as you shift into a person that believes that all good is eternally given, and that it's done unto you as you believe, and that anything that you want and need is already available, it comes to you. That is the way it works. So, once again, I'll say, if you're uncomfortable, you are loved. And you do not have to do anything that you do not want to do. You do not have to do what I'm telling you. You do not have to go to a practitioner. You do not have to take a class. You do not have to pledge. If you heard of another abundance idea that seems to work better for you, you go do that. And you go there, wherever it is that they told you that abundance idea that you think is going to work better than this. But darlings, here, if you're in lack, your beliefs about abundance must change. And your actions about giving must change. If you want your experience to change. And I am here to help you through that, as is every practitioner and minister here. And even some of us have this same issue. But we know how to work it. Okay, take a deep breath. We're going to change a little bit and move into truths about giving. Now, once again, if you receive benefit here, we would love it if you would pledge. But the idea is to give somewhere. And you give what you want to receive. And you give in conscious partnership with God. Saying something like, I am giving this money open-heartedly and in faith of God's plenty and receiving my portion. See? That's all you have to do. So here's some truths about giving. Nothing is ours separately. We give from God's storehouse. So there is a saying that we are the divine distributors of the heavenly goods. If you come Thursday, Dr. Lloyd Tupper will say those words. I am telling you he will. We are the divine distributors of the heavenly goods. We receive and then we give. But nothing that we receive is really ours. Because in the oneness, it's all God. And what you think is your stuff is sourced by God. Just like you are sourced from God. You are a blessed, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. You are a blessed incarnation of this one life expressing in this earthly realm as God in form as you. And all your stuff is God in form as your stuff. And all the money is God in form as the money and as the energy of money. So you can't give anything that's really, really yours because you're all wrapped up in the pattern that connects, which is God. So it's not yours anyway. And when you distribute it, more is going to come to you because giving requires that we open. Now look at this altar. This is a Janet Ryan altar. And this wonderful goddess holding up her bowl, is she letting the contents of the bowl go into the universe, or is she letting it pour into the bowl? We don't know, because that is an open body posture. It's like, here I am. Take me and let me give and let me receive. Just let me participate in life. This is what we want. This feeling. Not this feeling. You can't receive if you're holding on for dear life with a closed fist. Giving requires that we open. And we open to give and receive. The next truth about giving is open giving triggers love, joy, receptivity, connection, and more. So you know this. Everybody has had the experience of at Christmas time or at a birthday time or at a surprise time really planning and giving the perfect gift to someone. And having them be so transfixed by the gift that joy bubbles up in us, and connection, and love, and receptivity. So the more we give just like this, I'm telling you, the happier we are. Now, I like to think of myself as generous. I like to think, I pledge generously. Miracles have happened in my life. I'm a single mom. I've sent 2 kids to college. And you know, my money goes farther than anybody, including me, thinks it should. But I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But you know who outgives me is your president. Gail Durkin is one of the most generous people I have ever known. And Gail Durkin is pretty consistently joyful and connected. And I've asked her to come up and talk to you for just a moment.
you. So in my life experience, back in the 90s, maybe it was the 80s, I read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. And the principle in that book was to tithe to yourself the first 10%, so that you were always nourishing yourself. And then in the early 2000, I heard Edwene Gaines, and she kind of knocked my socks off. And she said, tithe 10% of your gross, not your net. I'm like, oh dear, I have to really bump up the whole thing here. So I sat down and figured all that out and said, okay, if I'm really going to believe in these principles of science of mind, then let's do it. My life is changed, and I keep doing it. And when I see that there's a need, it's just like, okay, God, do you want me to do this? Is this for me to do? And it says yes. It's like, okay, go, do that. And so I really take it to heart that whether I pick up $1 off the ground, or one of the classes I took in self-mastery, I was walking home from work and I found $101 on the ground because I just had this conversation with myself as nobody's ever going to be giving me money anymore because my mom had passed on. And I went, okay, thank you, God. You're telling me that you're my parent now and you give to me. So I encourage you to take this principle into heart, that source is my source. Spirit, whatever you want to call that principle, is always available and can outgive me in any way that it can. So step up to the plate with me, because it's really expanding and life-giving. So thank you.
Okay, we have a couple more points. Thank you, darling Gail. Truths about giving. And the next one is, giving what you want to receive puts you in the center of plenty. So with open-hearted giving, whether it's love or money or service or assistance, has you drawing from the abundance that is in your sphere. So if you are giving love, you're drawing from the love that is right around you. And if you're giving of abundance, you are drawing from the abundance that is already infilling you. And so as you give, you find yourself in the center of the experience that you want. This is a little bit esoteric, but just do it and you'll find out that it's true. That as you give openly, all of a sudden you feel more prosperous because you are giving from the abundance that is already around you. And then lastly, and people who are educated givers, they're nodding on this, so that's good. We can give more than we think we can. So this last week, this last 10 days actually, has been some of the busiest of my life. Last Friday and Saturday, I presented a workshop to the practitioners that I had to do a great deal of research for. And then there was the Sunday morning talk. And then right after last Sunday, I had to go to Napa on Monday morning because I was sort of in the delivery system of a retreat for all of the ministers of our movement, or at least the ones that came to Napa. So for about 160 ministers, I was doing ritual and ceremony every single day and meeting with the ministers' council to plan what we were going to do next. And then I came home Thursday night, and now is Sunday. And in the midst of all this, my dear, dear friends, Reverend Mary Murray Shelton and her partner, Amanda Craiglow, says last week, "We want you to marry us, Karyl." And so Sunday afternoon, after the Sunday talk, before I went to Napa, having given the house cleaning to them, poor babies, the two brides, and the shopping, we did a wedding in my backyard with music and flowers and cake and rings and guests and a program, and when I didn't think I had any time. But because my precious friends asked me, and I would never dream of saying no, the time expanded. So whatever it is, if you decided to give more in 2014 than you did in 2013, you'd be able to make it fine. No problem. And you would prove to yourself exactly what Gail said, that you cannot outgive God. You cannot outgive God. You give and you are infilled again. You give and you are infilled again. And as you give more and more and more, you receive more and more and more. That's the principle. So now this is just for the pledgers, or those of you that want to look at the pledge tables. The pledge tables are right over there. There's one that is for, you can shop at any of the tables. But there's one that is for beginners. If you've never pledged before, Gail will be at that table. She will tell you how to do it, how to fill out the pledge card. There's M&Ms over there, and a gift when you pledge. The middle table is for what we're calling supporting members. This is a shock. Be prepared to be shocked unless you've heard this before. It costs about $45 per person per Sunday to run this community. And so if you give less than $45, somebody else is making up for you, which is fine. That's fine. Because we have pledges this year, get this, from $180 for the year to $15,000. Somewhere in there, you can find a comfortable place. But that's the supporting members table. And if you aren't a member yet, there are membership forms there and pledge cards, and you'll get M&Ms and a gift. You'll get gifts, 2 gifts when you pledge. Then the last table over there, and the Austins will be at the middle table. Jane Roach will be at the last table, which is tithing. And if you want to step up to tithing, Jane's a long-time tither. She can tell you how to do it. And there's a wonderful story there about the Michigan tithing experiment, where where farmers took 10% of the crop and only planted 90%. And what it shows is that after 6 years of tithing 10% of the grain, that the tithing fields were so far outproducing the fields that had planted 100% instead of 90%. So it proves it. So there you can. There's people to help you experience generous, happy givers. There's forms. There's ways that you can give automatically through, filling out either a debit card or a credit card. And so go look and see what you want to do. Then for your gift, another gift for you is at the altar. We have 3 little bowls. And in the bowls are these little packets of California poppy seeds. And there's going to be Galen and M. Louise and Joe Hughes up here at the front. So what you do if you want a blessing on the abundance that you want in your life, you come up here, you just line up in the 3 lines, and they will give you this little packet. You hold it in your hands, and they will say, how do you want to experience your abundance? And you tell them. They will bless you. They will bless the principle of abundance and the experience of abundance in your life, and bless the seeds. And then what you do with these poppy seeds, after it starts raining, you put them on any piece of dirt. And then you await the amazing abundance of God as these little poppy seeds just grow into our state flower. And if you have any questions, come on Thursday night. And thank you for letting me kind of say your experience is up to you, for gosh sakes. And I'm here to support you. So let's turn within. And so it is that I give this spiritual mind treatment for abundance for myself and everyone here. And I begin by knowing once again there is one life. That life is God's life, and that life is perfect. That life is abundant, not to the extreme, but to infinity. There is an infinite amount of good in every single form that we could possibly imagine. There is an infinite amount of supply. There is an infinite amount of energy. There is an infinite amount of vitality and love and peace and joy and beauty. It is the nature of the infinite presence to give of itself to its creation that it loves and adores. That life is my life now. I am a creation of God. I am loved. I am adored. I am supplied. I am prospered. I am lifted up. I am filled with health and vitality. I am filled with love. Love comes to me and love flows from me. I am prospered all the days of my life in all ways that I want and need. And as I know this for myself, I absolutely know this for every single one of my precious community members and friends. Each one, as I have seen them this morning and will see them week after week after week, each one is loved by their Creator. Each one is adored by their Creator. Each one is prospered and lifted up and filled with joy and beauty and abundance of all kinds of wisdom and new ideas and success and prosperity and ways to serve and ways to have their life be full. It's all given, all given, all given. It's heaped on us. And so it is that I claim that as I open to receive even more, anyone within the sound of my voice that says in their own heart of hearts, I open to right now. I open to God's grace, God's love, God's supply, God's prosperity, and more money in my life than I can possibly spend as I change to accept. This is what happens. I know this for each one of us, and I absolutely open to divine guidance and direction so that I can say the perfect words that will unlock the key to each heart to open and believe the principles that we teach so that abundance may be experienced by each and every one and the vision of their life be made manifest. I give thanks for this knowingness, and I release this word into the law that always says yes. And so it is. Amen.
Can you feel the love inside your heart? Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love inside your heart?
Listen to the music in
Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love inside your heart?
Thank you. Thank you.
Would the ushers please come forward? So as we prepare our tithes and offerings with this new or reminded awareness that as we give, we receive. Put all of the joy and love that you possibly can into this gift. And if you have an automatic deduction that you've arranged for your pledge, just feel really, really good about that. And as the basket comes, you can either put in that little card that says I've pledged, or just know that your supply is serving the community that you love. So putting love and joy and expansion, beauty, clarity, and abundance into the gift that you prepare to give. Just know that as you give with these thoughts and feelings, that's how you're going to receive. More joy, more beauty, along with the supply that comes into your life. And so it is. Blessed be. Would the ushers please receive the gifts?
God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by Him. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by Him. Everybody sing it together now. You.
The love that comes with them, the expansive quality, the beauty of each heart, each giver. And I know that more and more supply is being poured into each life. So we just get those big buckets out to receive. And so it is. Amen. All right, before we end, remember that the legacy table is back there if you want to talk to Rick about putting GGCSL in your will or estate plan. Wander through the pledge tables, take whatever you like, and be sure to put a pledge card in if you want. And then here's the education table here, and please get your ritual and your poppy seeds at the altar. So I'm going to ask Michael to come up and pray us out.
And go home and plant your M&M seeds.
I'm going to plant some. I'm going to throw them out the window on the freeway, and just see these great gardens go up and down 101.
So would the practitioners please come forward? These practitioners give of their time and skill today so that you might go home completely fulfilled. So if there's anything left in you that you would like to explore a little further, celebration or any hint of something to be worked on, please see one of them at the table. And with the other practitioners, please surround us with their loving consciousness. Oh, and please join me for spiritual mind treatment. So as I go within, I remember that there is one life, and that it is the definition of plenty, that there is plenty of every good thing, that in that one life, all that there is abounds and becomes and expands and generates and regenerates. I live in a world of plenty. And everything in this world, everything in this universe of universes is made by that one creator, that one author, that one source of the infinite good, of the infinite perfection, unfolding as it knows itself in ever new ways. And so I ask myself, can there be anything imperfect made by this one? Can there be anything undeserving, unworthy? And I answer with a resounding no. That this one out of which everything is made, this one that is the particulate matter that is made into everything, every form, every thought, every idea, is whole and perfect and complete in itself and unending and unfathomably infinite. And everything made by it and for it and of it is that perfection reflecting itself. And so I know that that plenty of all good things is available to every one of its creatures, including myself, and including everyone within the hearing of my voice. One life lives, the gift is already given, and each one is deserving fully of that gift. And so I speak my word here and now, and I call forth from within each one that opening, that activity that releases any doubt and simply steps into the knowing of our own beingness, of simply knowing what and who we are. The fantastic creatures of an infinite mind. And I celebrate this. I celebrate that in each one that opens now to a greater knowing of the existence of plenty, of our deservingness of it, and of the ability within each one of us to say yes to the gift given, as we do now. And so I release this, my word, in gratitude for this resounding yes to the law of mind that always and forever fulfills, uplifts, stimulates, and rewards. And so it does now, and so it is. Amen.
Please stand for our affirmation and closing song. And remember, those of you I don't know well, I want to. Right up here. I give... Okay, we'll start again. I give with an open heart, knowing that as I give, so shall I receive. It is a spiritual law and cannot be otherwise. I experience God's prosperity as my own, as I live and breathe and enjoy the plenty that is all around me.